So anything that you want to mention about the Music Center? Or
We have some upcoming events.
absolutely. Now let's
that
talk
we
about
should
upcoming
mention.
events.
We have a Nutcracker. Nancy, Kim, you guys are involved in that.
Yes.
This is another Danbury tradition. This is
Nutcracker is a Danbury tradition since 1967, so that, I would say that ranks up there with traditions.
40 years.
Yeah, 41. This is the 41st
41st,
Nutcracker.
okay.
And we believe it's also the 50th Messiah this year, another long,
That's also from the
long-standing-
Danbury Music Center.
Oh, yes, yes. So there are many things under the Danbury Music Center's umbrella. A lot of people think of Nutcracker. Well, I can give you an illustration of this. People think of Nutcracker and they don't necessarily associate it with the Danbury Music Center, but in fact it is a Music Center production. And the illustration I will give you is apparently some poor soul's envelope with Nutcracker tickets was opened, it either broke open or somebody slid it open, I have no idea what, but the tickets ended up on the floor of the post office in Stamford. And but sometime,
That's where they dropped? Or,
yeah,
that's where they dropped. Okay.
in the mailroom. I mean, not on the lobby floor, but in the mailroom. And some poor soul saw that it was taking place in Danbury, some very kind soul, and mailed them to Danbury High School.
Ah, okay.
Now, they didn't think to mail them to the Danbury Music Center in Stamford. Maybe they wouldn't even know that, but they saw, well, it's taking place at Danbury High School. They mailed it there, and then we got a phone call from the central office. I mean, when I think about all the honesty that was involved in that,
In getting the
it's very
tickets
heartwarming. Yeah, it really is very nice. So people don't necessarily realize it's the Music Center behind a lot of these concerts, but yes, it is. And Messiah is another excellent example. It will be at St. Peter Church again this year.
Yeah, that is, I mean, get there early is
Get
all
there
I can
early.
say.
Richard is the wonderful director of that, and what he does is he pulls together 120 chorus people and a Baroque chamber ensemble of about 15 or 16 performers, and there's no sense me talking about it. I'm not directing it. He is, so let him talk about that.
Well, the important thing is it's a different night this year. It's been on Sunday for a lot of years. It's on Friday night, December 14th, at St. Peter Church, downtown Danbury on Main Street. One of the things that the Music Center works hard at is to keep all the concerts within walking distance of downtown Danbury. We have a lot of people come to that Messiah each year.
That's wonderful.
Maybe their only classical concert that they can come to. It's free of charge. They can
And
bring their
how
family.
many attendees? What is the capacity of
About
St. Peter's?
600 and change.
There's 800. You can seat 800 in
You
there.
can,
You can, and there's never room. So we figure there's 800.
And people come hours before, right, to get their... Or you
They
don't open the
do.
doors.
They
do you,
open the
like-
door in hours, but 1 hour before, I think.
They do. We've had people bring pizza in, and I put a stop to that, but we have had people bring pizza in and say, well, I'm afraid you can't eat pizza in St. Peter Church. But
Yeah.
The St. Peter congregation has been wonderful to us, as has St. James congregation, St. Joseph's. The public schools in Danbury are wonderful. Everybody cooperates with us, and we try to cooperate with everybody.
Now, has it been 50 years at St. Peter's? It's
No.
always been at St. Peter's?
It's at St. James.
It was at St. James long ago.
It was at St. James until the first year I was executive director, and the capacity of St. James is quite a bit smaller than the capacity of St. Peter.
So you had to move because of the demand?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at that large crowd in there and I said, this is crazy. I mean, we just can't fit these people in here. It's dangerous. So the next year we brought it over to St. Peter, and it's been there ever since. So I would say from 85 until now it's been at St. Peter.
And do you end up having to turn people away? I mean,
We
is it-
have.
Yeah.
I can think of several unpleasant situations, as people are not happy when they're turned away. This, to them, to many people, it makes their holiday.
Yeah.
Messiah is really the embodiment of what the Christmas holiday is for Christians. So this is a big holiday event for them. But on the other hand, if it starts at 7:30 and they arrive at 7:27 and there's no seats, I mean, there's not a lot I can do. I could try
Right.
to
It's
kick
hard to be
you.
sympathetic.
Yeah, I could try to kick you out, who got there a half hour early, but I don't think you would leave. So, yeah,
Not if I've been waiting. No, no,
exactly. It's difficult, and because we don't sell tickets, there's no control that way. Nutcracker, we sell tickets because we have had experiences that prove to us we had to sell tickets, and so we do.
So let's talk about the Nutcracker, because that's
That's coming up.
I walked in to have a visit with Nancy, because she's just right down the block, and there it was all laid out. Each night with the schematic of Danbury High School Auditorium, and you'd already sold out basically one of the shows.
Sunday is sold out. Saturday is almost sold out. If anyone listening right now wants Saturday tickets, I recommend getting to the box office tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. when it opens. Friday, I think there are 170-something tickets left. But for an auditorium that seats 1,200, we're talking percentage-wise a very tiny percentage of the auditorium. So again, I would recommend get to the Music Center and get those tickets. They're $15 and $20, but the $20 tickets are long gone. Kim and I both play in the pit orchestra and have
I
a
think
great
it's wonderful.
time.
It's live music
yes.
to the performance and wonderful dancing.
The dancing is incredible.
and
Arthur
costumes.
Frederick is a
Oh,
wonderful
yes.
director. Fully costumed, fully lighted, fully staged,
Every
fully
single
everything,
detail.
and live music. And I'm not sure anywhere else in Connecticut, perhaps saved Hartford, is there a live orchestra. for
I
Nutcracker.
will say
I
that
think,
when we,
it's
when Connecticut
nutmeg.
Ballet brought their full production of Sleeping Beauty to Danbury High School, which was in October, at a city center, we sold tickets for that performance, and that question came up a lot: is there going to be live music? And it seemed to be something that people wanted.
Well, in Danbury, they're used to that.
They're used to that, right?
It makes
There's
it a
that
completely
tradition.
different
Yeah.
experience if you get there and the orchestra's in the pit warming up and the conductor comes
Yeah,
out
there's
and
a
the light.
energy that
It's
happens.
an energy that doesn't exist if somebody just hits play. It just doesn't. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
So what's your involvement, Kim, with the not Sleeping Beauty, I'm sorry, the Nutcracker?
Nutcracker, I play second bassoon. This is my 5th year playing it, and it's absolutely wonderful. It makes the holiday season.
Did you go as a kid?
I went once. I went once when I was a child. I don't fully remember the whole entire thing. Back then, it was not Arthur and Lisa who were leading it. I did paint the scenery that was used about 15 years ago, though.
Is it still being used?
No, since Arthur and Lisa came.
remember that.
But I did. I remember doing that, and that was the year I went to go see it. But when I was asked to play it, I was mesmerized by looking at my score, which is 27 pages long. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to survive. And, and it's just the most magical thing, and it just, you bring everything together. It just makes me cry halfway through. I'm just like trying to hold back the tears because it's just powerful with the live music
That's
and the
just
dancers.
wonderful.
And unfortunately, I have my back to the stage, so quite often I've missed a couple entrances because I've been watching. Whoops, but I can't, the dancing, it's just incredible. I could never be a ballerina. I'm kind of heavy on the feet.
We should point out that there's a cast of 200 dancers.
220.
220.
220. Wow.
220
And
dancers.
the way Arthur, I conducted it for a few years, and you see it you see what a tremendously precise and beautiful production he does from the conductor's standpoint and how technically excellent it is and just marvelous. My daughter's dancing in it this year. She's 7.
that's so
She's a
wonderful.
Minnie Mouse and an angel. She came home
And
all
an angel,
excited
wow.
from rehearsal because Arthur had been working with the Minnie Mice, and Hannah and 2 other of the Minnie Mice were on a secret mouse mission. And he explained what this mouse mission was during the scene, and they were all excited and motivated, and they felt so important, and I thought, what a genius this guy is to figure out how to motivate. You got 200
Or
and some
bring it to their
people.
level so that they can engage in it. And,
Yeah, they were totally engaged, and it's going to make
be
it
in character. They're going to
and be in character and fun for them, make them feel important, and they grow up over the years into the
And
different
they're
roles.
part of a larger
and,
whole.
Yeah, and they get to see that they don't start out as the sugar plum. They start out as the Minnie Mouse, and maybe if you work hard in 10 years, you'll be the sugar plum.
Yeah,
But it's just a marvelous experience for him.
That's
really
wonderful.
And Richard has now seen it from several different points of view, directing it, and now as a parent. And I've seen it from that point of view, too, because both of my kids were in it. And one of them actually got his career start by being the tech director of Nutcracker. First he built sets, and then he painted sets, and then he did lights, and then eventually he was the tech director. Then he went off to Carnegie Mellon, got a degree in technical design, and that launched his career. So it really, when he thinks back, he will
So
tell
the
you.
Music Center
It
is like
was.
so near and dear. It must be
And
pumping through your veins, right?
Well,
Because
it is,
you've been
and for
executive
me, too.
director since 1985?
Since 1984, and
84.
I've played horn, and I wouldn't even be playing horn today had it not been for the Music Center. I was a piano major for starters, but
So what was your first introduction to the Music Center?
I think I have a vague recollection in college, it's very vague, that there were like a bunch of really old people and they were on stage at Ives Concert Hall. And I was like, who are these people? Because they were all old people and I was like, 18 or 19 years old, and these people probably were 30 or so, who knows. and I looked at these people wondering who they were, and I remember somebody said something about a Danbury Music Center. That's the first time I ever heard of it. And then fast forward many years, my husband worked, my husband's direct boss was Jim Humphreyville. And Jim Humphreyville.
He's on the board of directors, right?
No, actually,
Yeah.
he was the music director of the Danbury Symphony, and he's now music director emeritus. And actually, we're taping the show for him because he read in an email that we were doing this show. He said, I must see that show, and he's in Florida right now, so he can't possibly see it. He said, please tape it and send it to me. So we're going to do that. So hi, Jim, down in sunny Florida. He says it's very warm down there. But he told my husband that he could use a bass player, and while you're at it, make your wife play something too. How about French horn? We need a horn player.
Is that how it started?
That's pretty much how it all started. And my husband borrowed a horn. Jim is a horn player, so he borrowed a horn from Jim and gave it to me, and that's how it all started. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I became executive director. Oh my gosh. So yes, it's in our family's blood for sure. I'm indebted to the Danbury Music Center. In my will, there is money for the Danbury Music Center. That's how much it means to me.
That's a great story, and I think too, from you're sharing your stories, that there's a lot of people who feel that connected to the Danbury Music Center, because I know when there's a Danbury Music Center event, the people come out.
Yes.
People come out for that. I was astounded with the Pops concert. I mean, the green was full. It was just such a wonderful evening that evening. I had a question, but now I saw musicians on the street with their instruments. Was that this evening?
Tonight, probably.
Yeah.
Every night of the week. Well, every night of the week something's going on. Monday night is Danbury Symphony night. Tuesday night is Danbury Concert Chorus night. Wednesday night is Danbury Community Orchestra night, and Thursday night is Danbury Preparatory String Orchestra, and that's a kick and a half. That really is.
And what is that? Yeah, if you could talk about each of the programs.
Well, I'll talk about the Preparatory String Orchestra. It's a matter of fact, it probably finished rehearsing about a half hour ago. Glenn Lebecken is the director, and if you've never met Glenn, he's a piece of work. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met. He has a joke for every occasion, and every minute is an occasion. But the kids and the adults eat it right up. And to them, making music is fun, fun, fun. And that's exactly what it should be when you are.
Is this kids? Is this kids?
Kids. No,
or is it all ages?
In our organization, age has really nothing to do with anything. It's where you are. Where are you right now in the spectrum of learning? Where do you fit in? So the people who fit into the Danbury Preparatory String Orchestra are those with very little experience. And those with little experience can be 70 years old or can be 7 years old.
I understand what you're saying.
So predominantly, the DPSO, Danbury Preparatory String Orchestra, is kids predominantly, like 12, 14. But there's a whole host of adults who are sitting there too and struggling. Let me tell you, the kids pick it up quickly. The adults
it takes them a little longer.
Struggle. And then the Monday night group, the Symphony Orchestra, is exactly what it sounds like. It's a symphony orchestra. It's comprised of professional musicians and very talented amateur musicians, and they all come together and they make music, and they do not get paid to do this. It's all volunteer.
And how does one get involved in that if someone
call the Danbury Music Center. If you play viola, I will come and pick you up personally.
Okay, so looking for a viola player for the Danbury Music Center.
And then Tuesday is his group, and that's what it sounds like also. It's a community chorus, but we don't call it community anymore. The level of expertise is that you need to be engaged in this. You need to want to succeed, and you need to want to put your work into it. You can't just be a drop-in for 2 or 3 rehearsals and think you're going to do a concert. I mean, you have rules. Tell them what your rules are.
I do.
What are your rules, Richard?
Well, our rules are...
First of all, how many participants do you have? How many?
We have about 100. It varies throughout the year, but basically about 100. And Danbury Concert Chorus is non-auditioned. You don't have to sing an audition. Lots of people think of singing an audition. Oh my God, I'll never do it. A level of familiarity with reading music is necessary.
So that's the first rule. You have to be able to read music?
A lot of people think, oh, I can't read music, I can't sight read, because they assume a real elevated level of professional level. A familiarity, if you played clarinet in your high school band, or if you sang in a church choir in college, that level of experience is certainly sufficient. If you've never seen a page of printed music and you're turning it upside down, then probably you're going to have a rough time. But there's no audition. It's a tremendously supportive group. We require a lot. We require a professional level of deportment and attention to detail. Now, you're not going to open your mouth and make a professional sound on a high C every time. The people that can do that get thousands of dollars a night. It's very difficult. But an amateur singer can still come in on the beat always, can still start rehearsing at 7:30, not 7:32. We would start rehearsing
Right
at
at
7:30. And we expect a professional level of demeanor, and that makes it more fun for everybody. Everybody has a much better time, I think.
So there's a
because
camaraderie that's associated with this, or
the morale is great, and
Yeah,
I have
the
to say, when I was auditioning for the group, Leslie Eckstein, my predecessor, graciously allowed me to come into a rehearsal, and I thought, boy, the morale is great here. So it's got nothing to do with me. It was there before I got there, but it's a wonderful group. And if people are out there thinking of singing, if you think, oh, I sang a little bit in the church choir and I liked it, but my voice is not so good now, or I played drums in high school, and it'd be fun to do something musical again, but I don't know. What we encourage people to do is come try us out for a rehearsal. Just come and say, you don't even have to sing, just try us out for a rehearsal, sit next to a friend, just observe, see if it's something you'd enjoy doing, and more often than not, people think, hey, I can do this, and they
so
really
you do
get a lot
that, you
out of
invite
it.
people to come in
Absolutely.
just to
People are
observe
always,
initially, or
yeah, or to sing a rehearsal. We do have a requirement that you have to be at 75% of the rehearsals, otherwise you have to come talk to me. And that's so
that
we
is
have
serious, that must be a serious talk, though, right?
Well, we say, you know, are you ready to sing, or how do you feel? You want to
Yeah.
practice CD, or you know, how long are you going to be gone? We work it out. Also, the way we're scheduled, we have 3 concerts a year. There's a fall concert, which is in November, and then Messiah, and the spring concert. You don't have to do the whole year. You can. A lot of people come in and just do Messiah, which is just a 5-week commitment. And if you think, well, I can't do every Tuesday night all year,
Right.
that's a great way to get involved. And a lot of people just sing that one. We have a lot of folks who stay around for the November concert, and they may be snowbirds and go elsewhere.
Yeah.
So we have a membership in flux, although the number stays about the same.
So there must be a nice dynamism that comes with that, too. With
There
people
is.
Sort of with the same level of commitment.
There
We
is.
do have a caller. We're going to take another call here. Hi, thanks for calling in.
Hi, this is Lori. It's a question for Richard. Actually, 2 questions.
Hi, Lori. I know who you are.
Oh, you know who I am.
Recognize your voice.
I do, yes.
She didn't even have to
One
sing.
is there a chance that in the future that the Danbury Concert Chorus would ever go on tour anywhere, either locally, nationally, internationally? That was question 1. Question 2, is there any possibility of having a couple of summer sings this summer as a recruitment tool and just to keep us in voice?
Yes to both, Lori. Actually, Nancy and I had talked a couple years ago about putting together a tour for the chorus and the orchestra. Some years back, about 20 years ago, there was actually a European tour.
1990.
1990, 17
think so,
years.
yeah.
People still remember that, and that's something that's in our medium-range planning that we've been thinking about. All these things take a lot of planning.
They do.
The summer,
Well, and resources. Sure.
and resources. And the summer sing is a great idea, and that's something where, like a Messiah in July, you know, some
Doing
kind of
something
summer sing like that.
comparable to that, or-
Yeah, like a summer sing-along Messiah, real low-keyed, inviting people to come in, and that is also something we've discussed that may be a near-term type thing.
Well, that would be truly awesome. I
Yeah.
look forward to that very much.
Now, Lori,
they're both great
are you in the
ideas.
concert choir?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I am.
You are, and so what's been your involvement with the Music Center over the years?
Well, actually, we have been Bethel residents for about 25 years, and over the years we've gone to various cultural events, but it's basically since joining the concert chorus in last January, actually, I sang Elijah was the first thing that I had sung with the ensemble, that we have gotten increasingly involved, and now it's to the point where I mark everything that the Music Center does on my Outlook calendar, and we've gotten to the habit of inviting loads of friends to every event. The summer series was an excellent program, and we would just come every week and bring a picnic dinner and just party and enjoy
music
really great
nights.
music. And so that's becoming a tradition with our friends. So it's been an increasing involvement over this past year. I'm really glad for it.
Well, that's great. It sounds like you're a supporter of downtown, and we certainly appreciate that from where we're sitting.
She's also a wonderful singer. She's a big boost to us, a big
Thanks. I will
boost.
take any and all compliments.
Thank you so much for calling.
Thanks a lot. All right, bye-bye.
That was a great phone call. That was. I'd love to hear that people
Those
are
are
coming
two
to this
great ideas.
series, and yeah, the summer sing. That sounds like
A lot of
you guys were talking
communities
about
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
We have
probably time. We
I think
probably
it is.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Yep.
Now, what all these programs that you're talking about that bring the musicians downtown Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's not the only thing that you do, right? Because you recently had a program at WestCon where you had a guest. Did you have a guest performer?
Well,
the Viva España
Rehearsals lead to performances, and very few performances, unless it's a small recital, can take place in the Marian Anderson Recital Hall, which is the hall we use for rehearsals at the Music Center. So we always go elsewhere. And the performance halls of choice are within walking distance of City Center Danbury, and that's by design because we want people from all walks of life to be able to attend these concerts. If you've got money, you can go to New York, you can go to Lincoln Center and go see a
Right,
concert.
and get on a train and yeah.
Absolutely. But here in Danbury, and Danbury has not changed all that much in certainly the years that I've been here, and the years when Donald Tweedy and Rabbi Jerome Molino founded the Danbury Music Center. It was for all people, not exclusive people. And we are not exclusive by any
No,
means.
you're very inclusive.
We really are,
Very
yes.
inclusive.
I wouldn't be sitting here if we were not an inclusive organization,
So
for
how
sure.
is it that the Danbury Music Center supports itself? You're not for profit. You have the building that you reside in.
Well-
For those who haven't been in the Marian Anderson Music Hall, it's a beautiful, beautiful venue.
We have a beautiful venue, and that's thanks to the city of Danbury, who believes that what we do is very important, and they put their money where their mouth is, and they always have. We have a common council for years. Every common council we've ever had, every mayor we've ever had, is a believer in the Danbury Music Center. We lease the Danbury Music Center from the city for $1 a year. They not only give us the building, which is virtually giving us the building, they also serve us in ways that we could never afford to do. I mean, fixing things that need fixing, cleaning the building, that type of thing. They are so generous to us. I can't even begin to thank the city of Danbury because how do you even start to thank somebody? We would never be able to afford that.
So it's okay that the parking garage and all that noise went up behind you.
Oh, yeah, that was
Advertised over all the wonderful things that they do. in the years that they've been
minor
supportive.
inconvenience. It was not really an inconvenience, actually. The people who put up that parking garage were extremely considerate of us because
Yeah.
they realized how difficult it was to work under the circumstances where your body was like going like this all day long because they had these big ground diggers and everything else. Oh, it was really, really something else.
It was somewhat of a process, and not to digress from the topic at hand, but to see this parking garage go up, they brought in prefabricated huge slabs of concrete and created a route of 18-wheelers looping down and around downtown. So
Let me tell you, you can feel that.
when they go by.
But you asked the question about, well, what goes on at Ives Concert Hall or Danbury High School. I mean, that is
Yeah.
where we hold our performances because we obviously can't do them in the Marian Anderson Recital Hall, which has a capacity of 175 people. I mean, in some cases, your entire orchestra and chorus fills
Still
up
fill
that
that up.
capacity. So we go elsewhere and we present free performances. And you're alluding to the one on October 27th,
That's right, yeah.
which was called Viva España, and it was all Spanish music. Ravel wrote Spanish music, even though he's French, but that's okay. It had
We'll take
Spanish
it.
titles.
Yeah.
It was okay. And we had a guitarist, a classical guitarist, who performed the Concerto de Orejas by Rodrigo, and it was a fabulous performance. Large audience and a really appreciative audience too.
That's wonderful. So your support. So you don't have to worry so much about the physical aspect, the physical plant
The
of where
plant
you are.
is there, and we know it's there for the long term. We have a long-term lease, and we expect the lease will be renewed.
And one day we'll get those murals.
And it has, there's beautiful murals
refurbished, beautiful
in
murals.
my office. There are beautiful murals. However, the support is not just the city. There are large corporations surrounding Danbury and Danbury as well And there are also individuals like Kim or like Richard or like me or like you who are members of the Danbury Music Center. And you could be a member for $1 or you could be a member for $10,000. And we have the whole spectrum. There are people who don't have a lot of money, but they believe in what we do,
And
and
your
they
mission
give
and
us
what
$1.
you're doing.
A lady will walk in and say, I want to be on your mailing list. Here's $1. Can I be on your mailing list? Of course you can, and you're a contributor
And
as
you're
well.
really great about getting the information out.
We do.
We have about 5 minutes left.
Great. Okay.
So I always like to pose this question. If there was no shortage of resources, capital and human, what would be your vision for the Music Center, or even in the context of Danbury as a music city? And really, there's no,
You know what?
there's no shortage of resources.
I have to, it's kind of dodging the question, I know, but I want to touch on what Nancy just said about the supporters. When I auditioned for this job, I saw the supporters list, and it wasn't the $10,000 supporters that caught my eye, because they're with every musical organization, was the pages and pages and
Yeah,
pages
you have a nice little booklet there
of
with the...
$35 supporters and $50 supporters and $25 supporters, and I thought, this is really special. This is something that has tremendous grassroots, and it's sustainable. That's
Well,
what's
it
so
has
wonderful
been,
about
right,
the Music
for
Center,
all
is that
these
it's
years.
sustainable.
I'm going to interrupt for a second because we do have a call. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, Andrea and Nancy. This is John Hedden, Rabbi John Hedden.
John, how are you?
I'm fine, and I just want to thank Nancy especially for giving me the great opportunity at the age of 60 to start violin in the Summer Strings program. I absolutely loved it. I loved playing with Glenn Lebetkin. I plan on coming back next year. I've been graced by being taught by Allison Breisler, and I have just enjoyed violin so much, and I don't think any organization would have given me the chance like the Danbury Music Center.
Thank you,
I'm a
John.
big supporter and big believer in what's going on at the Music Center.
Is it okay if I tell the public what John said once to me? John, is that okay?
Sure, it's okay,
Okay.
Nancy.
John said that he realized that he reached the dream of his life when he was able to play the fourth movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, which people know as the, what do people call that?
Ode
to Joy.
Ode to Joy.
Yeah.
And he was thrilled to death when he played an arrangement, a simplified arrangement in a concert, and he was thrilled to death to do that. And I was thrilled to death that he was thrilled to death.
So dreams come true
They do.
They
downtown.
really do come true, and you made it all possible.
Thank you,
so
John.
much. And Andrea, you're doing a great job. I knew you and admired your work in Ridgefield. Great to have you in Danbury now.
Well, thank you. And we'll see each other soon, I'm sure.
I'll look forward to that.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thanks. Bye. Now that must just fill your heart with
It does,
with-
it does, yeah.
with everything, with gratitude, with joy. So in our last minute or so that we have, no holds barred, what would you envision for the Music Center if the dreams could come true?
It's a tough one, because sometimes I fantasize that I don't have to worry about where the next penny's going to come from. But I have to say, in the last few years, it seems as if people in the greater Danbury community understand that we need that support, and people really are being very generous to us. Now, I will not say we have unlimited resources, but Andrea, I really can't answer that question, because I'm really
'Cause you're
happy
happy
with
right
what we
there.
have right now. I'm so happy with what we have.
Anything you'd like to add to that, or
It's been a
just-
constant. It's been a constant. As long as it stays a constant, that'll make me happy. You know, keep
So
it
the
keep it as it
sustainability.
is. Yes.
Well, I
want my
want
children.
to thank you all for being a guest this evening. And I'm just going to say a little bit with a renewed commitment to bring arts and culture to the Central Business District. We're on our way to celebrating the diversity that has always been part of downtown. We invite you to come and be part of the galvanizing energy, as you can see, or the traditions that have been long-standing in downtown Danbury. Come downtown. Call the Music Center. Can you give a number, a website, all that info?
748-1716, 748-1716. If you're a viola player or anything else, call.
Thank you. 30, oops, okay.